the person in this video, leave a comment right now, who gets close to the print run will win a free copy of the card from me. Good morning, everyone. May 25th, 2020, and welcome to week number 10 of Project 2020. Talk about going way back into the archives for an intro into tonight's video. That was actually my very first official Project 2020 video way back on May 25th. And welcome to Friday evening. Welcome to the second to last full week in Project 2020. My name is Chris, otherwise known on Twitter and Instagram is at CRT_sportscards, and my website is CRTsportscards.com. That is where you wanted to go in May, you want to go today and into the future for everything related to Project 2020. And if you are a Rainbow Foil Board fan, definitely check out the website. There is a special page on there for the print runs on those cards. I just saw today on the Facebook group an Old Man Allen Ichiro, and it looks spectacular. So these are coming out faster and faster and faster, and I just can't wait to maybe hit one eventually, but we will worry about my personal Project 2020 shipments in the next couple of weeks. Let's get to the news of the day. And the last couple of days, we have seen some chapters close in Project 2020. We had an artist close their books, Andrew Thiel, with that Ken Griffey Jr., and then Ted Williams on the player perspective had his final card come out from Sophia Chang. And today, it was sort of a sad day in Project 2020. 3 more chapters closed their books. And look, we are going to see this more and more throughout the next, 9 days in the set? We have 5 next week, 3 more the week after, and today. So yeah, 9 episodes left of this. But closing their books from an artist perspective, Ermsy releases his final card with that Mariano. And somebody in the comments the other day mentioned they didn't understand why Ermsy was so cherished because no one's seen Ermsy, yet his Trout card is one of the most highly collected cards out there. And I want to say, I don't think Ermsy is cherished in the way that maybe we personally cherish Blake Jameson's interactions or F. from that perspective. But Ermsy's Trout is one of the most iconic cards in the set, and his artwork, because it is so different, because we didn't expect to see something like that in Project 2020, he struck a chord with us, and some of his cards are just awesome, and they're so different, which makes them fantastic. And taking a look at this Mariano, it's basically a full body split in half. We've seen this in a little bit smaller form throughout the Project 2020 set, but here it is, his final card. We have a full body split. So it's kind of a real evolution of Ermsy from a twisted Trout all the way to a cut in half Mariano. I don't think there's a better way to end an Ermsy set than with this Mariano. And another interesting thing about this particular Mariano is this is Mariano's final card in Project 2020. And you know, I have always focused more on the artist when it comes to collections. I think the players, because they're not sort of actively involved in this process. But now that the Mariano set is complete, what is your favorite card of all of his 20? I will say Mariano probably has the most controversial card in the set when Blake Jameson put the fanny pack he was selling on his Mariano. But there have been some interesting cards come out because this card is just so difficult to work with because it's just so boring. So this Ermsy was a fantastic way to end. So those are 2 of the 3 chapters that we have closed today in Project 2020. And before we talk about the 3rd chapter that closed, I did want to sort of correct the record on my video when it came to Sophia Chang, and I said maybe her lack of interaction with the fans. Somebody in the comments, and I apologize, I do not remember the name off the top of my head, mentioned that Sophia Chang is incredibly interactive with the fans on her Discord channel. Discord is not something that I use personally, so I have very little experience with it. So it was great to hear that some real true Ted Williams and some Red Sox fans had some real last minute direction and influence into that Ted Williams. And now getting back to the cards that released today, 1 artist and 1 player combination was not the end of the road in Project 2020, and that is Don C releasing his Sandy Koufax. And just like last week when we saw Don C use the Chronic for his inspiration on the Dwight Gooden, he takes it even farther back in the history books and uses Michelangelo for this Sandy Koufax. I actually think it works. I really kind of like the background of the card with the use of the Michelangelo painting. I thought it was a really smart design here because of Sandy Koufax's left arm from God. So maybe this card will work, maybe it will sell, who really knows? But I think it's a really interesting piece in Project 2020, and it goes very fittingly with Don C's recent use of references to drive sort of the direction of his cards. And then rounding out the releases today is a half and half combination. The artist that released their card, King Saladin, this is his 19th card, so we still have one more to go in the next week and a half. But his George Brett is the final George Brett we will see in Project 2020. And I will say, as someone who is not a big time collector of George Brett, or basically not at all when it comes to George Brett the player or George Brett as the Project 2020 subject, he has had a very interesting ride in the set overall. His very first card was one that really confused us. We didn't know really what to expect, and that one really threw us for a loop. But when you look back at what we have learned in Project 2020, when you go back to my first episode, when I didn't even really know how to record or edit a YouTube video, we have come to learn to appreciate the process behind these cards. And in my opinion, when you understand the process, you gain an incredible appreciation for the artwork in and of itself. And this King Saladin, we appreciate this George Brett more than we could ever have appreciated it if it released back on May 25th or even back in April when the set first released. So we as fans of Project 2020 have become more and more appreciative of the cards and the artist process, and that is what I really like the most as we end up this set in the next week and a half. So hopefully, guys, you enjoyed my look in at the artists for today and the players, and it helps you maybe make a buying decision, or maybe you wait and hold to see how these are going. But hopefully have a great Monday. Hopefully you pick up these cards on the Topps website, and I will see you all tomorrow when we talk about the next two cards.